everyone. Don't forget, if you like what you hear or want more information, make sure you like, subscribe, give us a thumbs up, hit us up with some comments. We can answer any questions that you have. Thanks for tuning in. Because the way I see things is that this is just a pressure cooker building. We've got a ton of buyers that are sitting on pre-approvals that can buy but are choosing not to and are thinking the prices are going to come down.
Yep.
And the way I see it is as soon as that interest rate starts to creep down or even remain the same, and now consumer confidence increases, we're going to see a lot more people coming into the market. Now, plain and simply, because if interest rates drops, people's purchasing power increases. And what's that going to do to prices? I feel it's going to push them back up. But what are you seeing with your buyers right now? What are they saying that are sitting on pre-approvals?
Oh, I think you're right. I think people are waiting in general, expecting the market to crash, right? One of the questions I get asked all the time, people say, you're seeing a lot of people defaulting. You're seeing a lot of people that can't make their mortgage payment. And I'll tell you something kind of crazy. I was just at a conference last week, and they had the heads of all these different banks up there. And they all said the same thing, their default rates. So the amount of people either behind on payments or defaulting all in general, where, you know, it's a disaster, is about the same as it was at the height of the market when interest rates were super low. There's really no difference.
Really?
So,
because we are hearing a lot about that, saying, you know, default rates are either going up or, you know, in the next 6 to 12 months, we're going to see X amount coming on.
It's not happening. What's happening, now listen, it might happen, like the tsunami might come at some point, but it hasn't happened yet because it just speaks to Canadians. We protect that house. And I get the calls, right? I get the calls all the time. And when I chat with my clients, they're like, hey, my payment went up $1,000, but we're not eating out anymore. We're not doing this. We're not doing that. We've racked up $5,000 in credit card debt. What they're not saying is we're skipping our mortgage payment. And what they're not saying is we're putting the for sale sign on the front lawn. They're saying, hey, can you help us try and get our lifestyle back? Because we've adjusted our lifestyle to what's going on. The other piece too, and this is kind of a myth, people always think the bank's out to take people's houses and stuff. God, no. Banks don't want to take people's houses. Right. Nobody, you know, if I'm a bank, I don't want to be on the front page of the news saying, hey, I'm taking Shawn Ramautor's home away from him. Like, no bank wants that. What they want to do is they'll work with the borrower, or the borrower will find solutions on their own. So we're seeing people extend their amortization. We're seeing people refinance and taking out a little bit of equity to help weather the storm, relying on their home equity lines of credit. I mean, the banks are working with people because they don't want, really the bank just wants the person to pay their mortgage. They just want to collect the interest. That's what they're interested in. They're not interested in taking someone's home.
And I think we can't, and you can't emphasize that point enough, because a lot of the preconceived notions out there, or misconceptions, are that, hey, you know, these sellers are going to be ripe for the pickings because, you know, the market's going to get flooded with all these power sales or foreclosures. And from what you're seeing, I mean, again, nobody has the crystal ball here. Otherwise, you know, we wouldn't be sitting here. We'd be, we'd be sitting in Vegas reading people's fortunes.
Correct.
But the reality is that from what you're hearing is that right now that's just not the case. So what are you telling buyers then that say, hey, you know what, Jim, thanks for the pre-approval, but you know what, I'm going to wait because this is, you know, the bottom is going to fall out.
I always say the same thing, like, listen, that's your choice, but there's an excellent chance you're near the bottom right now, if not you're already there. Because I think the second, to speak to what you said, the second interest rates are paused, the second the Bank of Canada says, hey, we're done, because I think people are waiting for that, I think the market's going to spike because I think everybody's going to jump back in, right?
Yeah, the analogy I use is basically you've got this many people that want to buy right now, this many people that can buy. And as soon as that interest rate drops now, you're going to have this many people that want to buy, this many people now that can buy, so the competition is going to increase. Whether it's 100%. Going to be a repeat of 2020, 2021, I mean, the jury's still out, nobody knows that. But again, when you look at the fundamentals, is if you've got X amount of supply and X amount of demand, and there's a gap there, as soon as that, you know, demand is increases more now by interest rates dropping, it's just going to create this effect to put upward pressure on houses.